don't know the series, which you probably do, but here's a recap.
Right, we're
Ben
live.
here
We're
talks
live.
about.
We're
Okay,
live. We're live. We should be live. What if Doctor wasn't X? Great. Season 43. Now, season 43 is the latest video in this. And we're going to be talking about all of this great stuff. It should be out in an hour's time. Yes, we are live.
yep.
Great. And we're going to be really. So ask us any questions you want. We'll answer them. We're going to really be talking about sort of just the usual stuff. Um,
YouTuber94 asks, "What do you look like?"
I look like a male who has hair. Oh, and I have glasses. There you go. So, any other questions?
Not so far.
So why don't you ask me a few questions about perhaps the genesis of the series or something like that?
Insert question about the genesis of the series here.
Do you like the new 13th Doctor?
Oh.
Right.
As opposed to the old 13th Doctor.
Well,
I do. I've not seen the new 13th Doctor yet. I do know the actress that is playing her. Know of rather, and I've seen her in things personally, and she's great.
I think she's a great actress. I want to see how she does before I judge her. But
Of
I've got no
course.
problem with the Doctor being female. I would have liked them to go a bit older, but it's fine. There you go. I think it's fine. Just have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah. Christopher Althouse says, "Yay! Looking forward to the next vid."
Yes, it should be on at 1:20. So in an hour's time, when this countdown finishes, you'll see what happens in season 43. So we just ask your questions in the chat. Feel free to do that, and we'll answer them. Just anything about what if Doctor was next, or Doctor in general, if you want. This should be fun. We did one last month for 42.
Hold on. Oh, something.
Okay.
One question just got.
Read them out in order, shall we?
Okay. What do you think about the Daleks in the Series 10 episode, The Pilot?
They were there pretty much because there had to be at least one episode in the series, and I'm fine they were just in that small bit then have their own episode, because I don't think they really needed their own episode.
Yeah. Only if it were written by Nicholas Briggs, I would accept. That's the only way I would accept a new Dalek episode.
Will Doctor
So,
this
Chris
timeline
Chibnall.
be axed? Now, the rule I've had with this overall is that in this timeline, Doctor is sort of immune from being axed, because that sort of defeats the whole thing. What if Doctor wasn't axed? So we just have to imagine at all these points, Doctor just doesn't get axed in this timeline.
Are you watching Twice Upon a Time on Christmas?
Yes, I will. I don't know what I'll think of it. At the moment, my expectations are really low, but we'll see if it's any good. If it's good, great. If it's bad, well, it's a Stephen Moffat episode.
And I'm watching it too. Not because I want to, because I have to review it for the Universals.
Because it's Doctor Who.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't have watched it if I didn't have to review it, by the look of it. So, yeah. Yeah. Where do you get your ideas from for the series?
Ideas from the series, well, just sort of, most of the stuff is source. Well, it started off mostly being sources about what if Doctor was an X, that sort of thing. And then, it just sort of became, mostly just becoming me working out an alternate timeline from what we got in, the previous season, and me working out what makes sense to happen next, following on from that. So you couldn't really go straight from season 27 to season 43, for example, but if you follow that enough, and as I've done, following from each point, from A to B to C to D to E, not necessarily go from A to F, you're working out what happens. So, why is Dimensions Time a third Doctor story the whole day? idea came from Tom Baker asking to be the Doctor again. So,
it's not Dimensions
it's not
in Time.
Dimension Time.
But...
We're talking about the Dark Dimension. I think you got that slightly wrong. The reason why is because in this universe it isn't. It was made because it's the 30th anniversary special, and that's the one I had to go from because I didn't, we didn't have anything others. And I thought the whole problem why it never was made in our universe was because of the fact that John Pertwee and Colin Baker complained about not being in it enough. So in this universe, that was solved by them making say, John Pertwee, you can be the main Doctor. Tom Baker will still give you a big role, just not the biggest role, so they can keep John Pertwee happy. That was the idea.
Yeah, and he was the earliest Doctor at the time, so yeah, sort of a good swan song for him.
Should Doctor Who get an Easter special in 2018? I think we should probably just stick with the series, because Easter special in 2018 may mean for them not doing an actual series.
Yeah.
Why are you streaming now? It's a bit early. Because I can't stream later because I'm busy. That's why, Ollie. Thank you. An hour ahead, blah, blah, blah. What's your reaction to Charlotte getting animated? It's nice. It's annoying that there's so many versions, but I think this would be pretty much seen as a definitive version for now, because it's the actual script as seeing the actual story as it was written with the actual actors. It's annoying that we have got so many versions. It does seem like they're bogging us down with all of these, but it's fun for what it is.
Yeah.
Was Richard Griffiths' plan to be in the 50th before his death?
We've not got to that yet.
We'll have to see when we get to that. You'll soon find out.
This is 2006, not 2013, okay?
When we do get to 2013, but, Richard Griffiths won't be in the 50th anniversary due to the fact he was dead by then. But whether he was planned to be that or not, we don't know yet.
They might have filmed stuff and might need to do a few reshoots, but...
Oh, what exactly? Did Richard Griffiths die in 2013, or was it just before then?
He died in 2013.
So maybe they might have filmed a few bits with him, I don't know.
As it would probably be a
He died on the 28th of March, though, so...
They usually film films, like, a year early.
Yeah. So it might have been, like, how Carrie Fisher managed to get into the new Star Wars, even though she died pretty much a year before it's been released.
Yeah. Something like that.
Personally, I think Devious was a better swan song. Maybe in this universe, but in the What If Doctor was an actual universe, Devious doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Favourite story of Doctor Who story of the classic and new series? Do you want to go first, Matt, and then I'll think about it quickly?
Okay, so my favourite Doctor Who story from the new series might be... there's so many good ones. A lot of them written by Moffat. And if you ask me my least favourites, I would be like, there's so many bad ones. All of them written by Moffat. So, yeah, I would say... Okay, if we just get rid of all the Moffat stories, I would say maybe Dalek.
So my favourite Doctor story of the classic series is probably City of Death.
Yeah, I would say...
It's City of Death and Kay's and Shazani, probably a tie between those. New series...
for me.
New series, Midnight or The Waters of Mars, probably.
Yeah, those are good ones.
What do you think of Power of the Daleks animated? Now, actually, I haven't seen the animated version of Power of the Daleks yet, because I spend money on Big Finish, not... Well, I do spend money on DVDs, but I've just spent more money on Big Finish recently.
So have I, but I got the Power of the Daleks animated around the time the Steelbook came out, mainly because I got the Steelbook around the time it came out. But I think the animation is good, but if you told me that Shadow was going to be animated by the same studio, i.e. BBC in-house, I would be like, no, please don't.
So, what did you think of John Hurt's death? Well, it's sad people die,
Yeah.
It's annoying he can't have more stories on Big Finish, but...
Yeah, they've just given it all to Paul McGann at this point.
Yeah, so there you go. What do you think of Doctor Who becoming a film franchise in 2023? Well, I guess you'll just saying, what if this happened? Not that is happening, because there's nothing announced about anything of this happening. If it's a film franchise, I think it's got to be how I've sort of shown it. The TV series has to be run concurrently with the film franchise. So
Yeah,
film perhaps every 3 or 4 years, TV series in between, with the
yeah.
same Doctor and cast really. What
What
do you
do you
think
think
of
of
the
the? Okay.
Eighth Doctor Time Warriors by Big Finish? I haven't heard them yet because I'm
Me neither.
spending money on other Big Finish at the moment, but I that is on my list.
I'm getting it for Christmas. So, and I'm not sure if I've announced this yet, but I'll be reviewing it on the Universals. So there you go.
What was the highest rated episode in this timeline? Well, I think we can all say it's probably Time Will Tell from season 34.
If we're only exclusively saying, um, like we're only saying like from season 27 onwards. If
Yeah,
it's of all time, then it's either Time Will Tell or the Caves of Androzani,
that's
because
a good.
everyone knows the Caves of Androzani.
Yeah, probably Time Will Tell. What about apart from that? Are there any others you can think of?
The chime. Oh, sorry, Midnight Upon Us. That would be a very highly rated one in my opinion,
Yeah. Will you do
because
what if
critics even liked it. So
Will you do what if torture wasn't axed? No, I will not. Right. If you were the Doctor, what would you do? Um, I don't know. Is that more just if I had a TARDIS, what would I do?
oh no, we haven't been
Um,
given enough information.
I
This is a very awkward question.
I'd go to next Thursday.
Good choice. Next Thursday sounds like a very good time to be alive.
Yep. Anyway, such as Seventh Doctor gets a miniseries to be a prequel to the TV movie.
I
Okay,
think
I think
it's saying
that's
should.
should the Seventh Doctor get a miniseries to be a prequel to the TV movie? On Big Finish, yes. On television, I think the age difference with Sylvester McCoy in the TV movie and now might be a bit prominent.
I feel like they should do something like The Last Adventure, where
Yeah,
like instead of having a regeneration story at the end, it should lead into the TV movie and
yeah.
just like
So it should
have a
have a whole
montage of
Dalek
like the
setting up
first
with
part
that
of it.
stuff. Bring back what's his name? The guy who played him at the start of the TV movie.
What the Master,
Yeah, the guy who played the
Gordon
Master.
Tipple.
Yeah, bring back Gordon Tipple. Is he still alive? I hope he is.
I think he is, yes.
Yep, and have him Seventh Doctor Last Adventure, 4 stories, leads into the TV movie. Yes, that would be good. I hope they do that. I expect they will do that at some point because it makes money and Big Finish loves money. And they're also great at writing stories, so that's great.
I hope they use an image of Gordon Tipple from behind the scenes of the TV
Yeah.
movie, just that costume. Not sure about the face and the face paint and stuff, but yeah.
So, how much did the movie make at the box office? Was it a good movie? I would say it'd be relatively good. The thing, it probably would have suffered from the whole overcramming of ideas because there's so many doctors in it, and there's so many stories going on in it. Um,
Didn't stop Batman versus Superman from making money.
yeah, so I expect it would have made money. Whether it would have been counted as a great film, I don't know. Critics probably, I think they would have liked it to start off with, then it might have dwindled down. Same how
I
the
th-
Day of the Doctor's very much been very much liked at the time, and now as time has gone on, it's people
yeah,
have changed their opinion on it. So I think that's sort of going to happen.
I think it would get more than 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't think much more than that. Maybe like what The Punisher is getting
Uh-huh.
right now, like a 67%. When I say The Punisher, I mean the Netflix series, not any of the films, because
Right.
they don't do well.
Will
Like,
you be doing any of the actual new Who Doctors and What If Doctor was an act series like the actual stars? By that, none of them will actually be playing the Doctor, but you may see one or two appear from time to time as different characters in this universe.
Yes. Although granted, we've not thought of anything for Christopher Eccleston to do, but he could play a Time Lord, I
I don't know.
guess.
Should the Eighth Doctor get 3 or 4 seasons take place after the TV movie, does that mean, again, on Big Finish, should he have some stories that follow on
which
from the
they've
TV
already
movie?
done. Like 3 or 4 seasons, then three or
Yeah.
four seasons after that, then three
I
or
think they're
four.
thinking more about perhaps revisiting the characters of Grace and Chang-Li and having like 3 or 4 seasons in that very much straight after the TV movie stuff. The problem with that with Big Finish is that Big Finish do not have the rights to TV movie stuff. They have the rights to the Eighth Doctor, and that's pretty much it. They don't have the rights
And
to
his
those
TARDIS.
characters. Yeah, they have
And
no rights to Grace or Chang-Li, or probably that's the thing. They probably don't have the rights to Gordon Tipple's Master.
that's true. They've got. I mean,
Or Eric Roberts.
I don't think the Master is a huge problem. Like, because they could say they could just heavily imply with the Master.
Yep.
Like,
Okay. So, I saw the album cover of The Dark Dimension. When is it coming out? That was on there. I wasn't intending to make like a soundtrack or anything. I put it on there saying, "Oh, this is what it might look like. Here you go. Have a look at it." And that's it. I thought that's just what the cover might look like. So, should the Daleks have the helium voices they have in the TV movie?
maybe
It would
around
be
then they might have that, but
it would
then
be
just
fun
evolve
at
to
perhaps
Big
some
Finish
points for them
ish.
to in the Big Finish if they did this. Say it was in the Seventh Doctor Last Adventure, for them at some points to get when they get really angry, they start to get really high, and then they get higher throughout the story, but start off normal. So when they're calm, and perhaps do it like that. Will the Valiards show up soon? Perhaps when we get to Doctor 12. Who knows?
No, but
I think Capaldi should be an incarnation of the Doctor in your universe anyway. LOL. I don't know. I don't think Capaldi would be in this universe. I'm a big fan of Capaldi's Doctor, but I don't think that would probably happen. We'll have to wait and see. Do you hear that China banned Doctor Who? It did ban Doctor Who, but to my knowledge, they lifted that ban a few months ago.
I don't think there's any reason for China to ban Doctor Who. Now there is this thing that China doesn't like time travel, but it's not as simple as that. They don't like time travel stories that affect the past of China. So pretty much every Doctor Who story is okay.
Yep. Didn't we have some stuff in Marco Polo?
I don't know about that because I've
But it's
not
white,
experienced all
so
of them.
so I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Will the Doctor after this season have the same amount of angst following the events as he does in this universe? Now, I think you, Christopher Outhouse, are expecting it's going to be some sort of time war. There is no time war. There is no blowing up of Gallifrey or anything like that. So the Doctor's absolutely fine.
Yeah, because I don't think there's. If Doctor Who wasn't axed, I don't think there would be a time war.
The time war was only done so they could sort of get a reset at the start of the modern series and make him mysterious again. But they sort of just threw that all away when they decided to bring back Gallifrey and then sort of do nothing with it.
Yeah. They being Stephen Moffat exclusively.
Yeah. Stephen Moffat and his yes men around him.
Oh, he's so clever.
What do you think of Daleks Alpha, Beta and Omega?
I've not experienced them, but
Right. Any more questions? Continue. We've got 41 minutes and 23 seconds until season 43 will be out for you to all watch. Doctor Who Revelation, which will be the second movie, will actually be out after season 43 at some point. So you will be getting a second Doctor Who film, which leads on from season 43. Was Richard E. Grant pushed out? Yes, I believe he would have been.
I don't think he would have been that reluctant because he was probably treated horribly as a Doctor. I would say he'd be a second Colin Baker in this universe, but his Doctor would be more likable than his, more popular.
I think it's just
he
the
would
stories
be.
that people.
Yeah,
liked.
I think I think he'd be like towards the bottom of everyone's like top 10 lists or
His
like top
era would have
whatever
been
lists.
really popular, I think, for Doctor Who. I just think, on reflection, it wouldn't have worked. Reflection, people wouldn't have seen it like that. The reason
Yeah,
he was pushed out was because of the whole thing. They wanted a continuity flow between films.
yeah,
Pip and Jane Baker were planning a story about Gallifrey blowing up and the Doctor dealing with it. Well, there you go. Pip and Jane Baker were planning that, so you can tell why that's a bad idea.
yeah. And the in the Eighth Doctor Adventures novels, Gallifrey was also blown up.
I don't like the
It
idea of
came back.
Gallifrey being blown up because the only point of that really is to give the Doctor more mystery. But you know, you could do that in other ways, which
Yeah.
perhaps don't, just blow up planets for no reason.
Mm. So
And it's
here's
interesting looking into Gallifrey, perhaps adding more mystery to it.
okay. Um. Okay. Is he perhaps referring to the cult of Skaro?
Um,
I think that was to do with the previous question,
yeah,
like by Dalek Apocalypse. No, he's definitely not referring to the cult of Skaro.
because that's was it Sek and
Khan
Khan or them.
and yeah.
Any more questions? Keep going. Um,
Uh. Well, shall we just talk about the sort of structure of season 43? Because yeah, it's still 8 episodes, still same time, but
and it's
I
still
feel
very much serialized.
yeah. However, we're basically doing something that I would say is similar to season 40. Not like completely similar, but just like be-
It's more,
so
each episode has a different focus on a different character while still having the subplots with other characters. So they
yeah,
have more. Each episode has more of an individual focus.
yeah. Like I mean, the first episode and the last episode all are just they're just neutral in terms of which characters have more focus on. But let's say one episode it'll be focused on the master, and another it will be the rogue or whatever. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Um. Right. Although I know, I was just wondering if the Dalek Khan and the gangs is confused. So let's go by this question. What do you think of the Court of Skaro?
well, I think the cult of Skaro are a neat idea. I just don't really like the stories they've been in.
And I don't think it was executed very well because
Yeah,
in Doomsday we just have the Doctor mocking the Court of Skaro, which just doesn't make them scary because he's just making fun of them.
every Doctor has been somewhat afraid of the Daleks.
The
Like
temp, the
the
temp
Daleks have
Doctor
always still been.
in
Yeah.
Doomsday doesn't really seem afraid of them.
Even though he should be, because guess what? They blew up his planet.
Yep.
Or no, he blew up his planet, but it was because the war was so awful that he was driven to it.
Yep. Do you think the Daleks would team up the Cybermen?
No,
No.
not at all. Never.
They would team up perhaps with some other people they can use their advantage and double cross. So they might do it with the Cybermen if they were to double cross them. But I don't think they would have a proper team up with them.
What did people think of Long Barrow?
I think people would have found it interesting. They would have found, some people would have been split about it, but I think in reflection, and people would have seen it more as a classic because it's setting up stuff that to come in the future. Because in this universe, the continuity follows Long Barrow, and the whole Loom stuff is expanded, and all that stuff is expanded later on. So it
Yeah,
isn't like it's just this entity that no canon really follows from ever again. Like we do have in this universe, it's very much a setting up the future of Doctor Who.
yeah.
Which is interesting. If I had faced the Daleks, I would scared and angry at the same time. Yeah, the Doctor should have been in Doomsday scared and angry, not mocking the Daleks and all that because it's really doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. The cool Discovery could have been so scary, and they just didn't make them scary. They just seemed like they just
They
didn't
just seem
work,
like they existed.
and they had no impact. Now, if they brought them back and actually made them scary, that would be fine.
Yeah.
A question for you: do you think we should actually have a new Dalek design in Series 11?
I feel like, as much as I like the current design, I do feel like we might need more variation on it. The thing is, I actually didn't mind the Paradigm Daleks as a concept. They were just executed very poorly in Victory of the Daleks from
I
a
didn't
design
mind them in
standpoint.
Asylum with the Daleks, though.
Yeah, I didn't mind them in Asylum of the Daleks. So, yeah, if they looked more like that from then on, then I don't think people would have. I think if people just gave them a chance, then they would have been seen as a very good Dalek design, a very unique one as well.
Right, my problem with the Daleks teaming with anyone is the fact they hate anything that's not Daleks. Now, I think it does work if they are there to double cross them, because they use them to their advantage to get to a point and then they kill them.
Because Daleks are smart,
Yes.
unlike how they're portrayed in some Stephen Moffat
Yeah.
stories. Like,
What do
this,
people think of the Rogue? Now, the Rogue, I think people would have. At the start, they might have thought he was a bit more of, just a new master. Which I think at the
yeah,
start he was a bit like that. But I think as he developed, especially into the Redstone era, I think people would have started to like him as, he's a main character. He's someone they can get behind, and I think he would have become quite a fan favourite.
yeah,
It would have been very much. I know you probably can't see this because, well, I can't tell you when sort of any lines of dialogue while we're, doing the episodes as they actually are. But in the series, he would have been very much had more of a lot of a sarcastic wit that the Master wouldn't have had.
yeah,
And bounce really off the Doctor, especially what you see in season 43, would have very much bounced off him. I think that would have worked really well. Very much a double act between the two.
yeah.
Except for Rusty, who hates everything that is Daleks. LOLXD. Right. Rusty was an interesting idea, but I think they didn't pull that off too well either.
Mainly because Stephen Moffat was there when, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the 10th Doctor made the Daleks look like a joke?
Yeah.
Yep, moving on.
Because it worked so well in Dalek, which Rob Sherman wrote absolutely brilliantly. And then,
Even though I would say Dalek is probably one of the weakest Rob Sherman scripts he ever written, but I would still give it pretty much a 10 out of 10.
yeah,
It's still amazing. So,
and then they just ruined it with the 10th Doctor. And the Daleks have never really recovered since then.
yeah.
Our universe needs another story with Rusty the Dalek. It'd be interesting to perhaps revisit him at some point, but they would have to do it in a much more scarier way, I would expect.
Yeah.
But I think the time for revisiting Rusty has gone now, because we're out of the Peter Capaldi's era, and I think with Jodie's it's becoming a lot newer, and I don't think they'd revisit something like Rusty.
Yeah, I don't think they should revisit anything from the Moffat era.
Or at
We
least
like to
until
forget
the
when
end
Doctor
of that
got
era.
drunk.
No.
The entirety
Entirety
of
of
the 10th Doctor making fun of the Daleks and just chuckling.
pretty much, yes.
And making everyone cry somehow. I don't know
really,
how people
really,
cry.
really do not like Series 2 very much.
I mean, I was gonna do a marathon of Series 2 earlier this year when I got the Steelbook, and I literally just stopped after I watched the Christmas Invasion, mainly because it was David Tennant. I was going in completely open-minded, just like, right, I'm gonna see why people like David Tennant, and I just watched it, and I'm just like, I don't really like this guy. I'm not gonna watch this.
Good episodes in Series 2 are School Reunion, The Girl in the Fireplace,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I like the possible planet in the Satan pit. I think that's pretty much it.
I I personally like Tooth and Claw and Love and Monsters.
I'm not another Monsters fan.
I don't think it's the best story ever, and I do
It's an
think
alright piece of television,
Greatest
but
Show
it's
is
not very Doctor Who, is it?
it's not very Doctor Who, but
It's
neither is
more
Blink.
like Doctor Who if it was a sitcom.
Well, Blink is Doctor Who if it were a horror,
Yeah, but I don't know, that
and
seems to
not
work more
Doctor
because
Who.
Doctor Who has always had that. Anyway,
Yeah, but
did
but
season 40 boost up ratings?
I
Boost up
think it needs
ratings.
boost up.
But yeah, I think season 40 would have. Because the whole, a new Doctor for each story, I think the ratings would have gone up for that.
Yeah.
I think it may have alienated some casual audience members though.
Yeah.
And I think it would have started off perhaps the first story with lower ratings, then the second story would have gone up, mainly because of what was the last story of the previous season.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Paternoster Gang. They should have had their own spin-off. Yes, they should have. I've got no idea why they didn't have their own spin-off.
Yeah. I'm surprised Big Finish haven't capitalized on that.
Why did we get Class, but we didn't get a Paternoster Gang spin-off? That makes
Money.
no sense.
Money.
But
Victorian sets cost
the
money.
BBC are amazing at Victorian stuff. They do so much Victorian dramas all the time.
Yeah, but it costs money to do Vastra each episode.
It costs money to do Shadowkin.
They weren't in every episode.
Yeah, but they're in pretty
Costs
much
money
every...
to do Strax as well, and
Well,
I'm literally trying to
They could have just
justify it.
made it 6 episodes if they wanted to do that and made it hell even 30 minutes. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
Stuff on CBBC uses sometimes more prosthetics than that.
Yeah. Wizards versus Aliens.
Something like that, yeah. I hate Series 2 as much as I hate The End of Time, which is a lot. Yeah, I agree with
Ooh,
that.
I wouldn't say
I would.
that.
Well, I
I
wouldn't hate it as much as The End of Time. I don't like The End of Time that much, but I'll say I hate Series 2 a bit more.
I would say I hate End of Time a lot more than Series 2, personally.
Oh, it's the other way around.
I sound like I'm defending it, even though it's like one of my least favorite seasons.
The thing with The End of Time that I like about that is pretty much just Timothy Dalton's performance.
Yeah, and don't forget Bernard Cribbins.
Yeah, and Bernard Cribbins as well. Annoying bits are the fact that they shoehorned Donna back into it.
The annoying bits are pretty much everything else, in my opinion.
The Master, the whole Four Knocks thing, the Doctor skydiving and not dying there, that whole stuff. Those silly cactus aliens. So much stuff I'm not even talking about, but yeah, End of Time. Series 5 was probably one of the best series of the new series, but after that it just went downhill. But I still
was very good.
I still don't like Matt Smith's Doctor, even in that.
I would say Series 5, that from
His
Series
Doctor's
5
the best
alone.
in it, but I don't like his Doctor.
From Series 5 alone, I can see why people would like Matt Smith. I just don't see it from Series 6 and Series 7.
In case you didn't know, Matt Smith is my least favourite Doctor. My favourite, of course, is... Yeah, who's your favourite Doctor? My favourite Doctor is Colin Baker.
Yeah, my favourite Doctor is Paul McGann, and Colin Baker is also up there.
Yeah.
Although I do prefer, Paul McGann, Sylvester McCoy, and Patrick Troughton more than Colin Baker. But apart from that, Colin Baker would be top if it weren't for those three. So
you probably realise Colin Baker's my favourite Doctor for one very important reason.
You gave the Chimes of Midnight to him.
Okay. I gave Midnight Upon Us to him. So there you go.
Yeah. I remember I left a comment on season 40 saying that gee, we can tell who your favourite Doctor is.
Anyway, 25 minutes 52 seconds. So, any more questions? Just keep bringing them in. Stuff about what if Doctor was an axe, this whole thing. Any questions about Doctor Who, really, if you want to hear about that. If you want to hear more about the future of this series, anything like that. just ask them away.
I've got a question just to start our conversation.
Right.
What is your favorite season of Classic Who?
Um, ooh. I don't know, because the thing is, most of them are mixed bags seasons. That's the problem. Even though it doesn't have my favourite stories in, I think the strongest season as a season may be either season 11 or season 8 as seasons. But with the story, if you know what I mean, because there's stronger stories in other seasons, but as a whole entire good season, I
Yeah,
think season 8 or season 11.
like I love City of Death, but like I've not seen the entirety of season 17, but from what I've seen, like I've pretty much seen the only good two stories from what I've heard. And one of them wasn't even aired. So, um and like but I would say my favorite season would have to be season 26, personally.
So, what was considered the best and worst season in this timeline? Well, the best season, um, I'm just gonna go by season 27 onwards, since
Yeah.
just saying
I
that
don't
would
think
be
it would have been season 27 itself.
no.
Not
The
so.
best season of this time, I can tell you the worst season would probably have been considered, um, probably either season 35 or 39.
I don't think it would have been season 39. It may have had the worst
It may
story
have been
ever in it, but
considered by fans, because fans tend to overbloat things. Um,
like
Best
season
season
22.
34 or probably 40 may be considered by fans, or perhaps 31.
Season 31 probably would have been good. Season 30 also. Um,
Well, you got
I mean,
the
just the
Dark
whole Griffiths era.
Dimension, and you've got what's it called? You've got, sorry, my head's completely gone blank. What's it called? Really, really good Russell T Davies story.
Is it Damaged Goods?
Damaged Goods. So the name just went straight out of my head.
It is my favorite Seventh Doctor story on Big Finish.
Eighth Doctor story in this timeline.
Yeah,
What is your favourite Colin Baker TV story? Timeline. No, it's it's Vengeance from Varos, probably, or Mind Warp. It's one of the two. I just really like the both of them.
same. Honestly, same. Um,
Favourite Big Finish audio? I think that season he just hands down Chans Midnight.
Same. What would be your second?
Second favourite, Jubilee.
You see that I would probably vote that as my third favorite because I would say my second favorite would be the Holy Terror.
I haven't heard it, you see.
Oh, you should.
I should.
Why haven't you heard it?
Because money, and
It's weird.
I know, but
Actually, no. Now it's 99p.
I've been buying Blake
Yeah.
7 box sets.
Well, once you've finished buying Blake 7 box sets, maybe you should spend just 99p on the Holy Terror.
I will. Master, yes, Master's a good one. Master's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favourite.
Oh,
Ethan
yeah,
Speeder
Master.
said.
Master is probably my favorite Seventh Doctor monthly.
It's a very good one. I also like Davros, which is a Sixth Doctor one that went with the Monsters ones.
Yeah, Davros is also really good. It's definitely up there in terms of Sixth Doctor audios for me. Um, and you can tell that it is meant to be set in season 22 because
Yeah.
the Sixth Doctor isn't the nicest of people.
Vengeance on Varos has some wonderful ideas and is beautifully horrific. Yes, it does.
Yeah,
That scene where Perry gets turned into a bird is very and the acid bath stuff. And also, I think that dynamic between the couple who are watching the whole stuff, and we see it from a very much just a normal person's
yeah.
perspective, is very good. And I think that's where some dark humour actually really works in it. I think the dark
Yeah.
humour in Vengeance of Valis is great. And also later on in Revelation of the Daleks, the black humour you have, I think that works quite well. I just think it's...
Yeah.
The thing that doesn't work in that is that really, really awful DJ.
Yeah. Also, when I was listening to Natural History of Fear, I got Vengeance on Varos vibes when, like, uh, let's say, like, India Fisher's character, I shall say, uh, because there is a twist ending to Natural History of Fear, but like, let's just say India Fisher's character and her like husband, I guess, were like having a sort of dynamic like that, except she actually left the house to like be evaluated and stuff. Natural History of Fear is also one of my favorite audios because it's my favorite Divergent Universe audio so far. Yes, I know Robert Sheeran wrote one, but I personally prefer it to Scherzo, so yeah.
So, um,
Ooh,
what do you think is the only good Daleks over in 2010 to 2017?
the pilot.
um, right, so we've got Victory of the Daleks. We've
Not
got
that good.
Asylum of the Daleks.
Not good.
What else have we got? We've got Into the Dalek.
That's probably the best one.
And then we've got Magician's Apprentice, Witch's Familiar.
That's probably the worst one.
Okay,
That's my least favorite
I don't
Dalek
like
story
Into the
ever.
Dalek, but it's
It's probably the best one out of all of them, in
it's
my
not a
opinion.
good story, but it's the best Dalek story we've had in the last 7 years.
Yeah, which is sad. I mean, unless you count Big Finish.
I also like Time Lash in an ironic way, i.e. it pokes fun at a lot of Doctor Who tropes. Yeah, I like... The main thing about Time Lash I really like is just Paul Darrow's very good at that.
Why don't we agree on the Sixth Doctor era so much? We agree.
It's fun. It's fun as like something you'd watch, just for the hell of it. There's so
Yeah,
much wrong with it that it's like one of those so bad it's good sort of The Room sort of stories.
yeah. That kind of makes me want to watch The Room again
No,
now.
you need to watch it at the same time, perfectly in sync with Time Lash, and just watch both on 2 screens.
Yes, yes. I'm actually gonna see the Disaster Artist in December, like a like documentary type drama of The Room, like sort of an adventure in space of time, but instead of Doctor Who, it's The Room.
Right. Well, that would be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, the pilot
So
is not a true Dalek story.
no, it
Well,
wasn't.
neither is The Magician's Apprentice and Witch's Familiar. That's not a true Dalek story. That is an insult to Dalek stories.
I think pretty much everything a Dalek story with Stephen Moffat's credit on is like that.
Always
So
ask, why did you bring back the Vardans? Because I asked them to.
yeah, well the thing is, the Vardans, they had so much potential in the Invasion of Time, and it was just wasted really. We can go a lot more into them, and since we already got this with Gallifrey, it's just interesting to see where they could go. And I think it
Also,
needed a
Paul
returning
Cornell
villain
wrote a
in Rebels.
book with the Vardans in it, so it just, I was like, well, that could happen. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, wink. Just, yeah.
So, it's actually my favourite surviving star Doctor. I'm assuming me Colin Baker and William Hunt are my favourite overall. Oh, there you go. Colin Baker. I do very much enjoy Colin Baker's Doctor.
Yeah, he's a really good Doctor. Like on television, he's funny, but on audio, when you get to like around that same sort of era, like season 22 era, he's kind of a bit of an arse.
Yeah.
Which
I think
he's,
so. I fell in love with his Doctor on television.
yeah,
And then I've just fallen in love with his Doctor even more with Big Finish.
yeah. Same, but I prefer other Doctors to him. But he's my fourth favorite Doctor out of about like a dozen. He's in my top third.
Is the clip show episode considered the Hellbent on this timeline?
Yes.
It is. Who is your favourite Who writer? Are you talking about in this universe? Or,
Robert
well, let's just
Shearman.
say overall.
Robert
Overall, Robert
Shearman in
Sherman,
both.
yes.
In
Thoughts of
both.
David Bradley pausing at before each word.
Oh my gosh.
It's a bit. It's a bit. It does seem a bit more like he's doing it deliberately than actually accidentally doing it. It seems. I don't know. It just had that vibe that he just seems to be doing like that, which is a bit annoying. But it's all right.
Okay, Dark Apocalypse literally just commented on the fact that I said, well, Magician's Apprentice and Richard Familiar isn't really a Dalek story. Well, here's the thing. I said that because, okay, the pilot isn't a proper Dalek story, of course, but The Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar, is rubbish. The pilot is not. There we go. Also, Ben, I'm not sure if you've cut out for me or you're just not talking. So, and I'm not sure if everyone can hear me, but
Hello.
okay.
Sorry, my microphone just went a bit funny.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Like having toy Daleks in these series. Well, yeah, the toy Daleks in Into the Dalek, I think they were in, did look a bit silly.
Yeah. Since Peter Capaldi's now stepping down, what is your favorite story of his thus far?
World Enough for Time, if you just count that one on its own.
And Heaven Sent, if you just count
And
that
Heaven
one on
Sent,
its
if you
own.
count it on its own. It's the thing is with Stephen Moffat's finales is that it's really, really good at setup. Payoff,
Yeah.
no, it is awful.
Although the Doctor Falls, I would say, is the best one out of all the second part Stephen Moffat finale.
Does Nick Briggs voice the Daleks in your timeline? And if so, when did he start? Yes, he does, but he starts off with it sort of being a mix between him and
Roy
Skelton, and then at some point he takes over primarily. I'm not sure exactly when that happens. If you want to check that, look at the extra, and you can see the end credits, so you can go through all the Dalek stories until you see what happens. I can't remember off the top of my head, though. David Bradley seems more focused on playing Hartnell than the actual First Doctor. Yes, he does, which is what annoys me.
And Stephen Moffat's more focused on writing someone from the 1960s rather than the Doctor.
Yep.
So
The thing is, the First Doctor and Hartnell are very different people, you know?
yes.
And it does seem like he's playing Hartnell, which is probably because, you know, he played Hartnell. And, yeah, that's what it seems.
Yeah.
Hartnell was ill for quite a period of time. His mistakes were excusable. I felt they added to his character. Yeah, they did, but they seem much more here.
But not
like
pausing before every word.
They could do it in that sort of, you know, if they had played it more dramatically, sort of like what you got with Professor Snape in Harry Potter, perhaps that might have worked. Not to that extent, but it seems much more like he's deliberately remembering to pause in certain places, like he's forgetting his lines. It doesn't seem like he's forgetting his lines. It seems like, oh, I'm doing this because I think it will imitate how Hartnell did it.
Who is the 12th Doctor? Please tell me. No, we're not telling you.
You'll find out in due course. And it won't be long now anyway.
Yes, and it's not David Tennant, it's not Christopher Eccleston, it's not Matt Smith,
and it's not Peter Capaldi.
It's not Jodie Whittaker. It's not David Bradley.
It's not Richard E. Grant, because we already had him. It's not Hugh Grant, as many people have said, because no. It's not, who else? Can I just think of random actors who people
James Darkey.
Yeah, it's not. They wasted the classic series Daleks of both the Simon Daleks and Mission's Apprentice and Richard's Familiar. Yes, they did. There should have been a reason they were actually there, not just there for no reason. And what if they were going to use them to their advantage? And Asylum of the Daleks, they should have had, you know, those Daleks who were from, you know, John Pertwee stories and Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell, you know, the older Daleks in that sort of place. I can't remember what it's called. And there were new series Daleks. They should have had those as the Daleks on those actual stories, because that was just such a missed opportunity. They had them, so why didn't they use them?
Yeah. If rumours about sexist Hartnell are true, I want to hunt down Moffat and perform Malcolm Tucker threat. Well, the thing is, it is true, because I saw, the way I found out was actually I saw the actual interview, and David Bradley said it himself.
That is annoying because that's not the character of the Doctor. That's just a product of the time. The Doctor wouldn't excessively be like that. That just isn't the Doctor.
Space Shark Productions, what have I missed? Well, the thing is about live streams, you can go back and
Essentially, 10 minutes time, season 43 is being released. There you go. We've just been talking about Doctor Who in general, what Doctor was next, that sort of thing. Ask questions away. Enjoy.
they should have done what they did with the Cybermen. I don't like what New Who did with the Cybermen. I don't mind the concept of a parallel universe Cybermen, but I feel like
Yeah.
After series 2, if they brought back the Cybermen, it should have been the Mondasian Cybermen and not
So that
like
annoyed me in the Doctor
our
Force.
universe.
They had these Cybermen evolution, right? So they go, you see all the new Cybermen, and then the original. We should have seen, if they were going to do this properly, or not do this whole really far evolution thing, is have pretty much all the versions. You don't have to
Either
have
all
of
of
them,
the versions or
all the
just
sort of looks of them.
yeah,
So this one, the moon-based tomb, and the Simon one, then one of that sort of boxy invasion to Earthshock sort of look.
yeah, and then
Or
the
and
then the
then
Cybus, then the
yeah,
Nightmare and Silver. However, it's either that or just the original and current design. Like because when we found out that we've got the Cybus ones as well, it's just like uh but then when I actually watched the story and when the lift came up and we actually saw that it was the Nightmare and Silver design, that I actually liked that and I said that in my review, so
so I think people get the idea from the Five Doctors when Herndon as the first Doctor said Tegan off a tea. Now I think that's the only time really. Well, you have the occasional hints of sexism sometimes in the 60s, but
like with the 10th planet asking Polly to make tea,
I don't know.
but like
But in the Five Doctors, it is the most prominent. You know, and Herndon. You know how he delivers the lines isn't sort of the. It's very bitey how Herndon delivers it.
I feel like the Three Doctors is the best representation of the First Doctor post First
The
Doctor
problem
era,
with
mainly because he
Bradley is
wasn't
that
really there.
the problem with Bradley is his Doctor, from what I've seen, is very soft. He's very soft spoken. He seems more like Hurdle. The problem with him was he was too bitey. He seemed too harsh. Hartnell was sort of a mix in between.
Yeah, although Hartnell was a bit more harsh in the beginning, but
I know, but by
Herndon
the
was
time of the
more
10th
harsh than
planet, he was
that.
very much a mix between those two, sort of.
He was much more of a nicer person.
It's like you can really see that at the start of the teaser where you've got Hartnell going, you know, love, pride, hate, fear. Have you got no emotions, sir? The Hartnell bit that it starts off with is very much love, pride, and then when you get to the Bradley bit, it's like, have you got no emotions, sir? You know.
As opposed to, I mean, Hartnell did it in sort of a similar way to that, but it again,
It
like
doesn't
Bradley
have
was a
that
little
same
too
feel
soft.
as him.
Where
If
does Chris
I was
Chibnall
the
fit in?
Doctor, if I was the Doctor, I would make sure they would make the classic Daleks do something and not just standing there. Yeah. Where does Chris Chibnall fit in your timeline?
He wrote a Silurian two-parter.
He also worked on a few episodes of Leftover, I think, in
Oh yeah,
series 2. Is just one of the writers. He isn't a prominent writer. He's just one of the writers that has been around a bit, I think, at this point. Just like
he
he
could
is
write
in
another
Doctor Who
story.
now, before they announced the fact that he was becoming the showrunner.
Yeah.
Also, you're my replacement's a dandy and a clown. Yes, that's a great line.
Oh, I really like Three Doctors.
Yeah. It's
One of
got
my
a few
favorite
problems,
Pertwee
but
stories.
it's lots of fun.
It's one of my favorite Pertwee stories, personally, mainly because Troughton's in it.
Well, Charlton is very good.
Yeah, I mean, The Five Doctors is probably one of my favorite Davison stories, mainly because it is just really good. But like,
I've got to confess, I'm not the biggest fan of the Five Doctors.
it's fine.
I,
It's fine. You
I'm
can
not. I'm not
be
so
not a
fond
fan of it.
Um, But the Davison era in general, I'm not a big fan of. Sorry, Davison fans, I really just don't like Peter Davison's Doctor.
Yeah. If Jack is not in your timeline, I will die. Jack is not in the timeline, but doesn't mean to say John Barrowman won't be.
That's some point, I don't know. I actually have it on DVD, where I think lots of people have the Five Doctors or the Three Doctors, whatever you're talking about, on DVD. I had the Five Doctors on DVD, but it was that horrid, original DVD released with the not matching spine, so I gave that away to someone, and I will buy a replacement at some time. Just it's probably the one I have the least priority for at the moment, until I have all the rest, and then that's probably the last one I'll get because I've already had it on DVD. I just don't have the there. So the War Games thoughts. The War Games, I like the War Games. It does go on for
The
a
War
bit
Games,
too long.
it is one of my favorite Doctor Who
But the
stories
thing
ever.
is, even though it goes on for ages, it's so fast paced. You can watch it there, and after each part, you're wanting to watch the next one.
Yeah, like
Because
especially
it's
when it gets
really
to
long,
like
but it is
part
really
5.
fast paced. There's so much to fit in it, but it does get really repetitive. But it's very fast paced, which is one of the good things about it. It's 10
When will the
sticks
Doctor
at its
leave
best.
Gallifrey?
The Doctor will leave Gallifrey. Well,
You'll find out.
you'll find out. Yeah.
And I'm not. I too am not a fan of the Five Doctors. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a sin. You cannot like the Five Doctors and still be a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
Special edition. Be jealous, lol. Well, it technically is the special edition. That's the original DVD, and the 25th anniversary edition has the original transmission and like a sort of
Yep.
it's a different special edition as
When
well.
he
So
realises that Don Warrington is no longer in the show, so nothing's keeping him there. Yeah. That's the thing is, by this point, I think the point is that at the moment, Don Warrington isn't in the show, right?
yeah,
But the Doctor can't necessarily go straight away and get the TARDIS where we are at the start of season 43 because he's in prison with the Rogue because of this whole stuff that's happened with the Master and Franks. So there you go. That's where the situation is at the start of season 43.
will the
Will
Weeping
the
Angels return?
return for a future season? I don't know. Probably at some point they will be in an episode or two, but at the moment they've only had 2 stories, and I think that works fine. What did Richard Grant think of Doctor Who team after he left? Will he be back? I'm sure he'll be back for some sort of anniversary episode, but
Yeah.
the new team probably would have been a bit. I think Richard Grant would have been in the highest of spirits when he left Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm not a
I'm
fan
not-
of the
I'm-
5th Doctor. Neither am I. That's fine.
Who is, to be honest, who actually likes the Fifth Doctor?
My brother actually likes the 5th Doctor, but I don't. Really.
How old is your brother?
12.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the Fifth Doctor when I was 9.
I've never liked this Doctor. That's probably because my brother's always liked him. But no, I've just never liked the Doctor. What Doctor Who DVDs are you getting for Christmas? Right now, I've only got about 15 or 20 Doctor Who DVDs left. I need to get. I don't have many Doctor Who DVDs left. I need to get to that complete collection. Most are just Tom Baker and Patrick Charlton. Then I'm done. So, I don't know. We just have to.
I'm not getting any for Christmas unless I decide to spend Christmas money on them.
Probably those will probably just be presents from other people, and then money will probably be spent on Big Finish.
Why did you turn Ace bad, you horrible person?
She may be bad at the end of season 42, but that doesn't mean she's necessarily bad at the end of season 43.
Yeah. Also, okay, I like him. He was a gentler incarnation, which is a good contrast to Tom Baker. Yeah, but the Fifth Doctor's a bit boring.
I just don't like his Doctor. It makes sense for them to do that after Tom Baker. I just don't like that way the Doctor is.
Yeah, the Fifth Doctor is my least favourite classic Doctor, and I personally prefer Matt Smith to him.
I don't.
I know you don't, but...
Which Sonic Screwdriver do you like? I don't like Sonic Screwdrivers at all. I'm with J&T on this. Um, sorry,
Yeah.
I don't really like sonic screwdrivers. In fact, if you're going by design, purely by design, I'd probably go for probably the Eighth Doctor's,
Which one?
the first one.
Yeah, TV movie one.
Yeah.
I'd say it's. I would say it's a draw between the third Doctors, the fourth Doctors, and the TV movie one.
Anyway, now we've got 17 seconds until it's going live. Okay, so it's gonna be going live very, very, very soon. So you should all be very much together for this going live. So I hope you enjoy this.
Yeah.
There we go. Just it will be going very soon. I just need to put it up. So there we go. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
Right.
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, I've already put it. Yep. Yeah, it's up. It's up. Everyone, it's up.
So, thanks for watching. Now, just
Here we
watch
go.
season 43.
It's up. Everyone, enjoy. Here we go. So, there we go. Goodbye then. Enjoy.
Au revoir.
Yep. Every subscription feed's gonna be spammed by the by by the extra channel with all the title sequence. Yeah, just be sure about that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Goodbye for now.
Ta-ra.